जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तनम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text number 2. Hare Krishna. And you repeat after me. Very, very important section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabdev's teachings. Mahatsevam dvaramahur vimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam mantaste samachitta prashanta vimanyava surda sadhavo ye Mahatsevam dvaramahur vimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam Mahantaste samachitta prashanta Vimanyava surida sadhavo ye Mahatsevam dvaramahur vimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam Mahantaste samachitta prashanta Vimanyava surida sadhavo ye. Mahatsevam dvaramo tamodvaram yoshti sangam antaste samachitta prashanta vimanyavasuda sadhavo ye Mahatsevam dvaramahur vimuktes tamodvaram yoshti Mantaste samachitta vipanyavasuda sadhavo Vaishnavis. Evam dvaramahur tamodvaram yoshti sangam Antaste samachitta prashanta vimanyavasuda. Word to word, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Mahat Sevam, service to the spiritually advanced persons called Mahatmas. Dwaram, the way. Ahu, they say. Vimukteha, of liberation. Tama Dwaram, the way to the dungeon of a dark, hellish condition of life. Yoshitam, of women. Sangi, of associates. Sangam, association. Mantaha, highly advanced in spiritual understanding. Te, they. Samachittaha, persons who see everyone in a spiritual identity. Prashantaha, very peaceful, situated in Brahman or Bhagwan. Vimanyavaha, without anger. One must distribute Krishna consciousness to persons who are hostile without becoming angry at them. Surida, well-wishers of everyone. Sadhavaha, qualified devotees without abominable behavior. Ye, they who. Translation. One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equipoised. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and are fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. Purport. The human body is like a junction. One may either take to the path of liberation or the path leading to a hellish condition. How one can take this path is described herein. On the path of liberation, one associates with Mahatmas, and on the path of bondage, one associates with those attached to sense gratification and women. There are two types of Mahatmas, the impersonalist and the devotee. Although their ultimate goal is different, the process of emancipation is almost the same. Both want eternal happiness. One seeks happiness in impersonal Brahman, and the other seeks happiness in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As described in the first verse, Brahma Saukhyam, Brahman means spiritual or eternal. Both the impersonalist and the devotee seek eternal blissful life. In any case, it is advised that one become perfect. In the words of Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 2287, Atsat Sangtyagai Vaishnavachar Stri Sangai Ekas Asadu Krishna Bhakta Ar. To remain unattached to the modes of material nature, one should avoid associating with those who are asat, materialistic. There are two kinds of materialists. One is attached to women and sense gratification, and the other is simply a non-devotee. On the positive side is association with mahatmas, and on the negative side is the avoidance of non-devotees and women hunters. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to speak something on this very exalted verse section of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially this Vishwakirti Prabhu, Anandamaya Prabhu may be there, all the wonderful Vaishnavas here, Sarsham Prabhu. It's my great privilege that I can speak something on this Amal Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is only the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is written with the pure desire to glorify exclusively and glorify the pure devotion service path, the glories of the Supreme Lord in the light of bhakti. So it's the Amal Puran, and with no qualification of mine, but on the order of the superiors and Tarun Mohan Prabhu, I would like to speak something here as per the Acharya's commentaries, Srila Prabhupada's statements here. So in this just preceding this verse, we have heard that verse which Srila Prabhupada quoted often. And the how does it start? Nayam deha deha bhajam niloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujamaye tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. So it is mentioned that one should not work hard like vidbhujam, like the pigs, for stool-like enjoyments in the body of a human being, niloke. Rather, one should look for brahma sukh, and for that one should get first purified. So brahma saukyam tu anantam, and for that one should do tapasya, not kashta. Kashtan kaman arhate vidam. So for kam one does kashta, for brahma sukh, for shuddhyat yasmat, for sattva shuddhi, to develop purification of existence, one should do tapasya. So Prabhupada writes in the previous purport about tapasya is voluntary acceptance of inconvenience for higher purpose. And the Brahma Sukh word which is used, so that is elaborated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and also here by Srila Prabhupada, that it can refer to Brahman and Bhagwan, both, because there is Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan. So I heard a couple of lectures to understand about this, and each of the great souls told that this is a very exceptional verse where Prabhupada speaks in this way, because if you see the general tone of Srila Prabhupada about Māyāvādīs is like, impersonalists can never get a place in the heart of Srila Prabhupada. See, of course, in compassion he can have, but the compassion will come in form of, punches upon them. So here he says that there are two types of Mahatmas, the impersonalist and the devotee. So it looks very unconventional Prabhupada purport. And all the acharyas, all the senior Vaishnavas who I heard, there's only Shivaram Maharaj, there's only Satyasuru Maharaj, everyone was saying the same thing. So in one sense, this is not referring to Māyāvādīs, it is referring to Brahmavādīs who actually attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. And Māyāvādīs are Māyāvādī Krishna Pradi, they go to hell. But those who are actually Brahmavādīs, they go to the Brahman. For a devotee, Kaivalyam also Narakayate. But here in this verse, it is referring that for both the journeys, either way, whether he wants to merge into Brahman or he wants to go to the lokas where Lord can be served, or either one has to serve the Mahatmas of that particular kind. And one should avoid the association of non-devotees. So, in kind of summary, dikh raha hai? No? Is it visible? Maybe I can. So, human life is a junction. So, junction means what? where you can change your track. Railway track can be changed. Otherwise, the track has to go straight. So human life is a junction. So you can take two tours. One is Yoshitam Sangi Sangam, and another is Mahat Seva. And there is a verse in the Bhagavatam only which says about Bhagavad Sangi Sangha also. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maiya ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Yoshitam Sangi Sangam and Bhagavad Sangi Sangam. So of course here the word uses Mahat, and then the Mahat gets translated into two types of Mahat. So we'll keep it this way. So Yoshitam Sangi Sangha leads to hell, and Mahat Seva leads to liberation. Doors to liberation are open. Yoshitam Sangi Sangha are two types: Stri Sangi and Krishna Abhakta. And the Mahatmas are two types: Brahmavadi impersonalist and Bhagavad Sangi devotees. So these three things are brought, and then Prabhupada says that a Vaishnava should always avoid the non-devotee association and take association of the Mahatmas. Then there is also a mention about the qualities of a Mahatma. Yeah. So these are different qualities mentioned. Samachitta, Prashanta, Vimanyava. Prabhupada goes to the extent of writing in the transliteration word to word only what you should do for Vimanyava. It's very like he can write that in purport also. But Prabhupada did not leave it there only. He felt like I should write it there. So without anger, and how he explains, one must distribute Krishna consciousness to persons who are hostile without becoming angry at them. So there is no reason why he should write there. It can be in the purport, but seems like he was very, very strongly feeling that it must be coming from his heart that this is what it means. Please, so please follow this. So Vimanyava means this. And Surya, well-wisher of everyone, Sadhava, qualified devotees without abominable behavior. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he mentions Samachitta refers to one who sees no differences. This is actually an impersonalist. And a devotee sees the heart, for a devotee the heart is sincere, that is Samachitta. And Prashanta, Prabhupada puts it in a succinct manner. Here he says, one who is peaceful is for the impersonalist, and for the devotee, his intelligence is fixed on the Lord. That is Prashanta. No? So Prabhupada has put it in one shot. Very peaceful, situated in Brahman or Bhagwan. No? So like that. So, and Sadhava word, in another purport of Srila Prabhupada, this another, where in Chaitanya Charitamrita this same verse comes, Prabhupada also says, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Sadhava, which is earlier mentioned as qualified devotees without abominable behavior, is meaning that those who do not find faults with others. So there can be many themes we can discuss. Some themes are listed here. Our Mahatma can be Brahmavadi or Bhakta. Beware of non-devotees, types of non-devotees, power of Mahat Seva, human life junction, so we can talk. Vimanyava, preaching without anger. So, okay. So, but I will take only one important theme. It will have a connection, two themes I can say, association of non-devotees and association of devotees. Let's see what time allows in 25 minutes. So, we'll try to do something. So, in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, Updeshamrit, he has condensed all the instructions of all the Vedas which have to be applied very seriously by a sadhaka in just 11 verses. And in that verses, like every word is a chosen word. It is not going to be something that he somehow just repeated by mistake. Like if you see in the Nectar of Instruction, verse 1, he says, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarapast. So Jiva Vegam is there. And then in the second verse is Atyahar. So is he called Jiva Vegam and Udar Vegam? Can suffice to say Atyahar. But it is not actually duplicating, The Atyahar word refers to over accumulating in all aspects. So that Atyahar is different. So in this whole 11 verses, one thing has been repeated. And that is Jana Sangha in the second verse and Sangha Tyagat in the third verse. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhaktya Loka, he has very beautifully elaborated on these two. And it's worthy to because Sangha Tyagat, this Asat Sangha Tyagat Vaishnavachar and Yoshitam Sangi Sangam and Bhagavad Sangi Sangha, if we want to elaborate, you will see through this discussion of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it comes out very, very beautiful. When I was trying to hear, I heard one lecture of His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Very beautiful lecture he spoke. So from there I got inspiration to get into the Bhakti Aloka, and it was very special. So I like to share from Bhakti Aloka. I hope you don't mind that. I love just quoting, like reading a little. And if we read, we'll get a lot of things to churn upon. So I'll read and churn upon. So this is Jana Sangha. So what is Jana Sangha? Associating with worldly minded people. So Jana does not refer to devotees but worldly minded people. Now in that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that first he says that how we need the association of devotees for getting bhakti. Otherwise we cannot get bhakti. So in fact he says, Darshana sparshanalapa savasadi vishanat bhakta punanti krishnasya sakshadapi cha pukkasham. Even an outcast becomes completely pure by seeing, touching, conversing with or living with Krishna's devotee for even a moment. Reward. How fortunate are we that we are always surrounded by devotees. We are, and this famous verse of the 7th canto, Naisha matistava durukramangrim sprishatyanartha pagamo yadartha mahiyasam padarajo bhishekam nishkinchananam navrinitayavat. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So, this is about Sangha Tyaga. Now comes something which I highlighted. See, Prabhupada writes about Sangha Tyaga, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Activities like talking with worldly people in the course of one's work is not considered association. So someone may say, so should I not go to office only? Should I not go to preach also? Because preaching also requires talking to some people. You go in the auto, the auto wala may also be non-devotee. So we can't go only anywhere, And so then that is not, in the course of one's work, talking to worldly people is not called Jana Sangha. When the same activities are done with affection for someone, that is considered association with that person. So there is this affection principle, and we will see this principle for the great souls versus materialistic. Here also he says affection, and later when he will talk about the great souls association, there also he will use the word affection. So just an ordinary association with devotees will also not make us get out of this program, the cycle of birth and death. That is a prasanga. Prasanga means sangha with prakrishta rupena sangha means association with affection. In the Bhagavatam, Kapil Dev says, Prasangam ajaram pasham atmana kavayo vidu sayeva sadhushukrito moksha dvanam apavritam. So this prasanga with the materialistic, that is going to keep us attached in this world, and prasanga with the transcendentalist, a great soul can liberate us. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing, every practicing devotee should know the various kinds of worldly people. Therefore, we are hereby most unwillingly enumerating these people. See how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing. Therefore, we are hereby most unwillingly. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's heart is feeling pain to write something negative. So he is saying, but most unwillingly, we are enumerating these people. These worldly people are of 7 kinds. So, the time does not allow us to elaborate everyone's situation, but I would like to mention still some. First, we will read 7. Māyāvādīs and atheists, sense enjoyers, those who are fond of sense enjoyers, women, womanizers, hypocritically devout, and ill-behaved, foolish outcast. So, there are 7 kinds of materialists, and then Prabhu Bhaktivinoda Thakur is elaborating on each one of them there. Māyāvādīs. So, you see, in Māyāvād, I will just bring certain sprinkling of some things which we may not be very conscious of. So, Prabhupada's purports are so powerfully punching Māyāvād. I am sure that if someone is an outright Māyāvādī, we will not associate with him. But there is another Māyāvādī which a devotee can get troubled by. Who is that? A Māyāvādī who speaks Chaitanya Path and Shankara Mat. That kind of people are also existing. They will worship Radha Krishna, but their mind is thinking of becoming Radha Krishna. And it is not that devotees are very sharp in Prabhupada books so they can understand this. Once Raghunath Bhatt Goswami ji was coming to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and on the way he got one Ramdas Viswas, and he was chanting continuously Ram, Ram, Ram. He was chanting Ram's names, and he was very gentle in his character, and he was serving Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. And Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was feeling that how can I take service from such a wonderful Vaishnava who continuously, name of Lord Ram is continuously on his lips. He was feeling so much pain about it. But he was going along with him because his association was very nice he was feeling he's chanting names of Lord Ram. And when he met Lord Chaitanya embraced Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and greeted him with all sweetheart. And he did not even look at das Ramdas Viswas. So when he did not see at him, then Raghunath Bhatt Goswami said, he is such a great devotee of Lord Ram. He always chants the names of Lord Ram. Then Lord Chaitanya told he is chanting Ram's name to become Ram. So we cannot distinguish very easily. Sometimes people, they use a YouTube to just search for a Vaishnava, But YouTube is a very dangerous program. Because YouTube has Vaishnavas and Māyāvādīs and Vaishnavas who are actually Māyāvādīs. So we don't know who is who. And when we hear, sometimes they speak, very, strong devotional type of expressions. But actually in the core of heart, they are wanting to be a Māyāvādī. So we have to be very careful that we don't just take the YouTube as the benchmark of. First we should know the Tattva. What is his conception of life? If his conception is that the Jiva will become Bhagavan, then he is a Māyāvādī. He may be chanting Radha Krishna's names also, but he is a Māyāvādī. So we have to be very careful with these people. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami is one example. Lord Chaitanya rejected Mukunda because he was associating with sadhus. Actually, he was very simple, sweet personality. So he did not have the guts to say no to if some sadhu would say some katha. But those fellows are followers of, say, Māyāvādī philosophy also. So he would not be able to say no. Sometimes devotees feel little shy to say no. They are not able to cut very easily. They say, kaise mana kare, sadhu purush hain. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I don't want Mukunda. Mukunda, he will get Krishna Prem after 1 koti janam, 10 million lifetimes. But Mukunda in the core of heart, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. So, he said, Jai, only 1 koti janam, prapti, I will get only. And then Lord Chaitanya felt very touched by his devotional feelings. He said, Turant le aao, But to share the principle which we are trying to elaborate here, that Lord Chaitanya was very, very pained that he associates without any discrimination. So we should not think that if we are simple in our heart and we are very naive in understanding who is a Vaishnava, who is not a Vaishnava, but we have a very basic motivation is good, it's chalta hai, nahi chalta hai. Lord Chaitanya is not pleased. He is very, very pained. So we should be careful with such Māyāvādis. So Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is writing here about sense enjoyers. He says, association with sense enjoyers is harmful. Those who are always busy associating with sense enjoyment are filled with blasphemy, envy and violence. Quarrel, argument and hankering for sense enjoyment is their life. The more they enjoy, the more their thirst for sense enjoyment increases. So actually, when we are hearing, I am mentioning specifically YouTube because people have become little loose on trying to hear from anyone, everyone. Sometimes on the name of self-help books, people are hearing from many outsiders. And we don't know what kind of consciousness they are carrying. And that consciousness is touching us. Whatever we are hearing and chanting, that is the watering to the Bhakti Lata beach. So if we are hearing from people who are having all types of materialistic desires, then that will come into our heart also. Here Prabhupada, the Chaitanya Charitamrita verse Vishayara anna khaila malin hayaman. Malin mana haile na hai Krishnera smaran. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. So, sometimes devotees ask a question about, I'm not able to chant with attention and all. But we have to see where we have taken a non-devotee association. Because somewhere the non-devotee association has contaminated our mind. There are many which will come here. But here he is mentioning specifically of Vishayi. So when we eat food cooked by a Vishayi, sometimes people say that, okay, chalta hai, koi baat nahi, bhakto, matlab, abhi well-wisher ko khush karne ke liye kuch to khana padega. But actually we may be thinking well-wisher ko khush karne ke liye, but he wants purity from us. Why does he want to feed us? Because he wants our blessing. But what is the potency of our blessing? To the degree we are pure. No. So we have to be careful that what way we try to associate with them. Actually, when we set a higher standard and we tell that we don't eat anything but fruits, they also feel happy. Oh, bahut bade sadhu hain. No? So there's no problem, we can express our attachment. Those persons who are externally engaged in sensual activities and accept sense objects just to maintain body and soul together, but internally engaged in their constituent position as servant of Krishna, are not counted among sense enjoyers who are attached to the fruits of activities. So, we should not think that a grihastha devotee is actually a sense enjoyer. So, he may be engaged in sensual activities. That way, brahmachari is also engaged in sensual activities. But one should do it for maintaining body and soul together. So, one is not a sense enjoyer. And then he says, the sense enjoyer and persons fond of sense enjoyers are both worldly minded. So, yoshitam sangi sangha bola hai. So, sangi means what? One who is attached to those who are sense enjoyers. Persons who are fond of sense enjoyers are themselves also sense enjoyers. So sometimes people feel weak to cut their association with the sense enjoyers. They also have a tendency to do sense enjoyment. Because they always think of sense enjoyment within their heart. There are some people who are not themselves sense enjoyer, but they take pleasure in associating with sense enjoyers. No? Their association should also be renounced. Because they will soon become sense enjoyer and bad association themselves. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has left no stone unturned. And it's in complete clear words that this is to be given up. And then he will also talk about devotee sense enjoyers. See here, he says the devotees who are attached to sense enjoyment are of two types. Those who are including the Lord as a part of their sense enjoyment, and those who have kept the Lord in the center of their sense enjoyment. Two types. Include means what? जैसे आपको दही भिंडी खाने का है, आज तो हमारे गोपाल जी दही भिंडी खाएंगे, That means किसको खाना है? हमको खाना है तो भगवान को खिला देंगे, So part of their sense enjoyment is Bhagwan beer. And those who keep in the center, that means Lord should enjoy, then I will enjoy whatever Lord enjoys. So between the two, he is saying association with the latter type is preferable to association with the former. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has so thoroughly said. Then all of those who are engaged in sense enjoyment according to religious codes, someone may say, pious people are nice. Oh, they are better than sinful sense enjoyers. Still the practicing devotee should not associate with them until they become devotees. See, that is also not convenient. So pious wala bhi, is cutting there. Simply by, now he goes to renunciates. He will not leave the renunciate also. Simply by wearing the dress of a renunciate, one does not become a devotee free from sense gratification. Because renunciates often collect and save objects of sense enjoyment. So one should see in the renunciate also who is wanting to give up sense enjoyment or who is wanting to cultivate sense enjoyment. So on the other hand, many persons resemble sense enjoyer but utilize everything in the worship of Lord Hari in the mood of detachment. That means he is a grihastha brahmachari. He is a proper, he is actually a pakka devotee of the Lord. So such devotee we can associate. But a renounced order fellow who is actually looking for sense enjoyment, we should not associate. Like that. And here now comes women. Do not associate with women. On the other hand, when a woman is engaged in sadhana bhakti, she should not associate with men. So sometimes whenever we talk about Yoshitam Sangi or something, woman, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur has very clearly brought the point that there is Tri Sangi and Purush Sangi also. He will use the word Purush Sangi. So basically the problem is attachment to enjoying with the opposite sex. He will also elaborate very clearly about wife and husband dealing. He will talk about it. Of course, I will not read that part. Associating with opposite sex is very inauspicious for advancing devotees. And then he talks about the duties of husband-wife situation. So they should not be attached for sense enjoyment with each other. Like that. For those who are engaged in worshipping Krishna, such association yields inauspicious results. That means one who wants Krishna worship, then he should not associate with such Stri Sangi. So here he says, if the wife is helpful in the discharge of devotional service, then the fault of Stri Sangi does not arise. Okay. So I like to say some more words about this non-devotee thing. See, there are some who we may not very clearly mark out. One is those who have no faith in God and no faith in morality. These people are easy for us to accept, well, easy to reject, because they don't have faith in morality also, so they do a lot of sinful activities. So we may reject. The next one is he has no faith in God but has faith in morality. So this is more difficult for the person. Why? Because they have no faith in God, but they are looking very nice people. So devotees feel, kitna acha hai, no? Sometimes our devotees are not so very well cultured, but moral people are cultured, but they don't accept God's subordination. They are worse people. So that is another. And then has faith in morality and God, but faith in God is subordinate to faith in morality. This is worse. This is more difficult. It looks better, but actually it is more difficult to discern. What is the problem? He has faith in God. Bhagwan mein bhi vishwas hai iska. And he has faith in morality. Kitna acha hai. So culturally also good. God mein bhi vishwas. But he will say what? Why Krishna did Ras Leela? If Krishna did Ras Leela, then I don't want to be called a Hindu actually. So why? Because you have put God under your box of analysis. So these people are like that. And then pretender, that Dharmadhvaji which Bhaktivinoda Thakur had taught. So sometimes people pretend to be very renounced or very advanced, but they are internally something else. And impersonalists, Sahajiyas also. Sahajiyas will say yes to Krishna and yes to Maya also. So like that. So now we'll go to the next one, which is about the Sangha Tyagat, in which very, very important subjects is talked about. Actually, Sangha Tyagat is not exactly a repetition of Jana Sangha. When he is saying Jana Sangha, he is talking about giving a position of worldly minded people. But under the category of Sangha Tyagat, Bhaktivinoda Thakur elaborates that it mentions two things. Sangha means association and attachment. So association means like association of these non-devotee people or attached to Sri Sangi and all. And he also mentions Jnani, Yogi, Bhakta and all. So all that is same in the both. But the next one is attachment. So in attachment, there are two types of attachment. Attachment to prejudices and attachment to assets. And these two have to be also given up. So when he talks about prejudices, oh my Lord, it's out of the world actually what he writes. See, you'll read some. Everyone in the world is under the control of these two kinds of prejudices. Which two? Actually, here is mentioned of modern and ancient. Ancient is coming from past lives, modern is coming from this life. And the other two, the categorization was, these are the two. So coming here, he says, only Sadhu Sangha can reform the attachment to prejudices. Sadhu Sangha is the only remedy for this disease. So we have a lot of actually preconceived notions which come into our devotional life also. Many times even devotees, they may be inclined thoda sa karm kaand bhi kar lete hain thoda to karna chahiye, It's like balance, thoda like we should go to take bath in the holy river, paap dho ke aate hain thoda. Kyun dho ke aate hain? Because we want some karma kanda benefit also. Chanting of the holy name is removing you are taking bath in the nectar which is, immortal nectar from the spiritual world. But one wants the Amrit which is especially on the Shahi Snan day, So like that. So one has got some scripts. Like that many scripts come into our mind. Like when some great soul, Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport, great souls cheat for a great cause. So someone who is a hardcore moralist from his स्वभाव, ये तो ज़्यादा बोल दिया प्रभुपाद ने. क्यों ज़्यादा बोला? Because it does not match my script. Who says he has to match your script? You have to match your script with him. But this jiva is caught up in his moral box. That's why he judges Prabhupada by his box. So, only sadhu sangha can reform attachment to such prejudices. So, this verse is in 3rd canto only, in the Kapila section. But I was amazed that it is actually reflecting what comes in 25th chapter also. Sangoya samsvite hetu asatsu vidito dhiya saeva sadhu shukito nisangatvaya kalpade. Same thing was told earlier in the 25th chapter later. Sangha majaram pasham atmana kavayo vidu saeva sadhu shukrito moksha dvaram papavita. So, the materialistic association causes us tamodvaram, and the devotee sangha causes us detachment. So, we have got the association of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, before that, to tell some examples of how association of devotees affects. So, in the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's purport here, he mentions about how Narad Muni's association affected Mrigari and Valmiki. Valmiki earlier as Ratnakar. How that has affected, and immediately they got transformed. So, all their past scripts are removed. So, this verse is very beautiful. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Na rodeti mam yogo na sankhya dharma evacha na swadhyayas tapastyago nishtha purtam na dakshina Vratani yangyasthandamsi tirthani niyamayama yathavarunde satsanga sarva sangha poho himam. If this sangha is that prejudices, that attachment to the prejudices, so those prejudices cannot go by all these other things. The Supreme Personality of God said, my dear Uddhav, by associating with my pure devotee, one can destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. One may perform Ashtanga Yoga, engage in philosophical analysis of the elements of material nature, practice of non-violence, other ordinary principles of piety, chant the Vedas, perform penances, take to the renounced order of life, execute sacrificial performances, dig wells, plant trees, do public welfare activity, give charity, carry out severe vows, worship demigod, chant confidential mantras. See, Krishna is explicitly mentioned each of this so that people understand this has not got the power that is there in the association of a pure devotee. Visit holy places, accept minor and major disciplines. Even by performing such activity, one does not bring me under the control. Only, how does it happen? See, association with prejudice is very dangerous. By affectionately associating with pure devotees of the Lord, one's association with prejudices in the form of karma and jnana is destroyed. So, bhakti can be performed in a very ordinary way by just thinking of doing the chores of devotional service. But bhakti in a very proper way, when you want to enable bhakti yoga program in its full capacity, then we should know it is done with attachment to the masters. That affection, prasangam, that there's another word used, snigdha. Snigdasya shishyasya, he mentions for Suta Goswami. So that when the snigdhata comes for the Vaishnavas, then one can walk over problems at a very fast rate. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur will write that. Until the attachment to prejudice is destroyed, the 10 offenses in chanting will not be uprooted. Offenses at the feet of sadhus is due to being proud of one's karma and jnana. See, this Megari and Ratnakar examples mentioned. Yeah. See, by observing the pure characteristics of a devotee, in a very short time a person's mind is changed. His attachment for sense enjoyment decreases and seedling of bhakti sprouts in the heart. One even gradually develops a taste for Vaishnavas' food and behavior. We have seen how by associating with Vaishnavas, people have given up many anarthas. Taste for associating with women, thirst for wealth, desire for sense enjoyment, liberation, inclination for karma, jnana, meat, fish, drinking wine, smoking, tobacco, and desire to chew pan. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. Of course, here also, today also people are, I think we should add here pan masala also now. No. By observing a Vaishnava's quality of not uselessly wasting time, many people have easily given up anartha such as laziness, oversleeping, useless talk, urge of speech, etc. That means when we associate with devotees, we have to see their qualities and associate with that quality. What a wonderful Vaishnava this is. He has this quality. I want this quality. How can I serve him to get this? We have also seen that by associating with Vaishnavas for some time, someone's cheating propensity and desire for fame is also destroyed. Jai. We have seen with our own eyes that by associating with Vaishnavas with a little affection again, all other associations such as attachment to prejudices has been vanquished. Those who are attached to winning fights, those who are expert at attaining dominion, those who are eager for accumulating great wealth, all such types of people have attained devotional service by being purified in the association of Vaishnavas. Even the hearts of those who think, I will defeat the world by my arguments and attain supremacy have been pacified. Pacified. No? Without the association of Vaishnavas, there is no alternative for rectifying the attachment for prejudices. That is why Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahur Vimuktes. So one should associate with the great souls. I did not mention about that why that impersonalist Mahatma thing more, but let us associate with the devotee Mahatmas and get their qualities, and we should try to avoid those non-devotee, whatever, Yoshitam Sangi Sangha. Then we will be able to safely go back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Huh? Question? Okay. Any question? Yes. Anup. Mic दीजिए Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this you have touched about the topic of purity. So I just wanted to understand. Purity means it is what is the exact definition? Here it came about by eating that food stuff cooked by non-devotee, our mind is contaminated and purity is lost. Sometimes it is referred to as purity as able to understand oneself as a spirit soul more than a body. And sometimes it is said like
Bhogavritti versus Sevavritti. We want to serve Krishna, we want to submit to Krishna, we want to submit to Vaishnavas. And there are many conceptions which also hinder that. So we get conceptions and consciousness both. Impure conceptions and impure consciousness. Conceptions means, like imagine you hear from some person who is talking impersonalism, then your conception get Māyāvādī bhāsha sunile oile sarvanash. So that is, conception has become contaminated. And then consciousness is anyway going to get contaminated. So conception and consciousness both have to be kept in the pure realm. Correct?
Thank you very much. As the verse is saying, the Mahats, very famous verse, and you also elaborated on prejudice goes away by associating with Mahatmas. But sometimes we feel that although externally we are trying to associate with them, hear lectures, and we are trying to follow the instruction, but still some prejudice which doesn't go. So what else can be done so that we can get rid of those?
More, and also develop that quality of attachment more. Actually, we associate continuously with a great soul if we are very attached. Like Prabhupada said, I was never separated from my spiritual master, not even for a moment. So how does it happen? Because he is always staying in the heart of Srila Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Thakur is very strongly there in the heart. It's like he cannot ever depart himself from that association. He's always contemplating. If you hear one conversation Prabhupada is having, and one devotee asked that Parampujya Gopal Krishna Maharaj is asking, can we have funds for temple building? He said, yes, we can give. BBT can give a loan. And then it says, for that, some publication work will become paused. Publication cannot stop. Printing. First books. Is it? First books. Where is it coming from? Bhaktivedanta Thakur had told, if you ever get money, print books. This is our principle. Prabhupada tells his disciple, this is our principle. Printing cannot stop. First books. So because he's always orchestrated by the master's orders and desires. So he's a walking, talking Bhaktivedanta Thakur's instrument actually. So he's like that. That's why he is Prabhupada. But as we become attached to our masters, then we will be also able to consciously include them in our decision making all the time. and our mind will not stoop down to mode of passion ignorance. So mode of passion ignorance, if we want to come out of, we have to associate with the great soul. If you read Bhagavad Gita 17.2 purport, Prabhupada elaborately mentions about how we have to, those who are in mode of passion ignorance, by very conscious associating with the great soul, we have to pull ourselves above. And then only we will be able to rise above the lower modes. So that's basically, we have to somehow constantly take their association. And wherever we don't take, we take some mind's association which is contaminated, then those scripts brush our consciousness. One non-devotee, Prabhu Bhaktivinoda Thakur does not mention is the mind only, that is the constant association. We keep associated with our own scripts. So in the Jana Sangha, he does not mention, but in the Sangha Tyagat, he mentions them as prejudices. So we continuously associate with those prejudices. So if we can walk over those prejudices by continuously associating with the scripts of the great souls, that is important. Okay? I think we'll close here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.